So, in the process of going to that concert, I showed up drunk, wanting to fight people and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, I'm a big guy.
Wait a minute. I got to stop this for a second. You showed up at a Disciple concert drunk, waiting to fight people?
I mean, I wasn't wanting to fight people, but I showed up.
But you were ready to fight people.
Yeah.
You were in full mosh pit mode.
Yeah, pretty much. Except I was drunk. So I showed up to this thing, and literally, like, God just came in and got my heart and got me in the right direction. And I actually gave up drinking that night because of something that Kevin Young from Disciple said, that our paths crossed tonight. You were here because someone told you about this event. And, and I was just like, okay, he's talking to me. So after the show, I walked up to him and was like, I feel like you were talking to me. And he's like, you're drunk. I'm like, yeah, I know. You don't have to tell me anything I don't know. And he's like,
yeah, I know. Hey, yeah, I know. Let's not focus on that at the moment. There's something else on my mind.
Right. So we sat there and talked for a little bit, and he introduced me to a guy named Sean, which was actually the organizer of this concert called Move the Hills. And Sean was actually going through a recovery journey too. So he talked to me a little bit. And at that point I was like, he's like, you know what you need to do? You need to go talk to God. And I was like, okay. So I went out in this field at this event and talked to God for probably about 30 minutes. And I said, God, I give this up to you. I'm not going to continue drinking anymore. I need your help to get through this. And that's basically how Broken Bottle Productions and Break the Bottle podcast all came about. As far as,
and how long sober?
I'll be 20 months sober on the 15th.
Wow. Good job. Almost 2-year mark.
Almost 2 years. So
did you get into any kind of 12-step or anything like that? Or beyond the night of Disciple, I know you need, aftercare, I guess is the best word for it, getting
a mentor. Or
that sort of thing. Yeah. Keep it rolling. So how did you do that?
So a lot of the guys that were actually at that concert, the organizers, they were a ministry called Out of the Boat Ministries from down in that area. And all them guys kind of came alongside me and was like, hey, we got you. I've never stepped foot into an AA or a 12-step program. Basically, I had a good support system at the very beginning, and now I have a really good support system, even as going right now. So.
Okay, so you have Break the Bottle podcast, and you have a Break the Bottle channel on YouTube, which is kind of a video blog, you were telling me.
Yeah, so basically that's from the very beginning. So when I first got sober, I wanted to tell everybody about it. I still want to tell more people about it, but it's basically a month to month, maybe a couple, like the first few were like a few weeks in and leading all the way up till where we are right now. So.
Okay. And what else does Break the Bottle do?
So we also put on events. So there was a concert last year in August called Sober Fest 22. I believe Patrick was on that with you guys. I believe he jumped on and did an interview with you guys from that.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it was Patrick on the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
those are always fun.
So he was actually there and he did that podcast with you guys. But this year we're going bigger. We're actually going to have 8 bands.
Wow.
It's going to be called the Broken Bottle Music Festival. And so there'll be 8 bands. Most of them are local, but we're bringing in Chaotic Resemblance and The Protest.
Oh, that'll be a good show.
So,
anybody else on that bill yet?
So we got Divine Martyr, Weapons of God, SafeKept, Monarchs To Oblivion. I'm going blank right now, but there's 8 bands total.
Well, that's a barn burner of a show.
I think Patrick said he was on that. So
yeah, 3 Days Thunder's on that show too.
Yeah, and so
all right. Did you put him on in an early slot? No. Yeah, you see, you made a mistake there, brother.
I think they're going up on 6.
Yeah, you got to get him in and out.
It should be an exciting show.
Yeah, that sounds like a great show.
Yeah,
like we're starting the night out with a local band called Justice 316. So I mean, we're hoping that we can bring in a crowd from, local area. And then we're also bringing in like, big names like Chaotic, Resemblance, and the Protest. So I think it'll be a good time.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, we've interviewed some of those bands, and it's always been a good conversation.
Yeah, Chaotic, Protest, they've all been on the show.
And one thing I like by them is all of them have a heart for ministry.
Right.
They're not. I mean, they're not getting rich doing this thing. This is.
I don't know that anybody out there in the Christian scene's getting rich doing anything nowadays.
We're gonna see Skillet tonight, and they're doing okay.
They're doing okay.
Yeah, but
I guess the Joel Osteens are doing okay.
Yeah,
but
the Disciples doing okay. But again, though, the just the heart for ministry. Like, hey, we're building our castle in heaven by doing this, and that's great. Seeing some of those bands you talked about, how they are totally ministry oriented.
If that's the thing with this show, I'm gonna say my castle in heaven's gonna be a mud hut, brother.
Oh,
I'm just playing.
Yep.
You want to do some music? Are we gonna do some music from some of these bands?
Yeah.
All right, let's do some music here. Come back and we'll talk more about Broken Bottle.
Sounds great.
All right. This is the Rock Salt MUZKAST experience. All right. Rock Salt MUZKAST experience. Aaron and Dave.
ADP in the house. Get some.
Love having Patrick on the board.
Yes. Yes.
This guy's over here shaking his head like he knows Patrick.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Our guest today is Ryan from
Broken Bottle.
Yeah.
Or Break the Bottle. Sorry.
Break the Bottle
I said it
Ministry.
wrong. Broken Bottle. Break the Bottle.
And you kind of told us like how you got victory from at this at first. You talked to God in the field. But as you went on to day 2 and day 3 and day 4 of your sobriety, I'm sure there was some challenges that you had.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely challenges. I mean, you go from 15 years of being an alcoholic and then you just stop. You're going to have challenges. Like every day I'd walk into the gas station and the beer would be there. Like the alcohol would still be there, but I had to make that choice. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to do that. I made a promise to God I was not going to drink anymore and asked God for help to get me through it. And I mean, I had that support group. I had, people in my life that were, on board and helping me out. So, I mean, if I got to a rough patch, I'm like, man, I just want to drink. I could call one of these guys up and say, I'm in a rough patch right now. How do I get out of this? They would guide me along and be like, don't do it, man, don't do it. But I think the real big one actually was in October of 21 is my mom passed away from COVID. And, our whole family got it. My dad, me, my mom, we all got it. And my mom was the worst off. And she was hooked up to a ventilator. And the day before the day before she died, I walked into her room and I was like, Mom, you don't know about all this stuff that's going on in my life right now. Like this is some cool stuff. And I wish you were here to see it, like planning stuff, like playing concerts and all that kind of stuff. Like I was in that process of planning stuff, but it wasn't like official. And, I was like, Mom, you'd love to see all this stuff right now. And like that day I told her, I was like, I will not pick up another ounce of alcohol until the day I die. I won't be drinking. And that was like one of those defining moments where, now it's like, if I go back and I have a rough spot or anything like that, I can go back to that moment where I told my mom that I wasn't going to go back to it. And, I think that was one of the biggest challenges throughout this whole entire journey was just the fact of, having to lose a parent. And especially for 15 years of my life, like I basically just lived my life for alcohol, hooking up and all that kind of stuff, and was spending time away from my family. and I lost that 15 years that I could have been spending time with my family, but instead I was choosing an addiction.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm sure she's looking down. She's seeing what's going on. But secondly, addiction to drugs and alcohol is like being in a toxic relationship. And all your friends are going, hey, you got to get away. Like you walking into the grocery store and the beer's over there in the corner calling your name, and these toxic relationships that people are in, it's like, well, I can't live without this person. How am I going to make anything work? And unfortunately, sometimes you just got to take that leap of faith, and you might sink down in the deep end of the pool, but I promise you're going to pop back up.
Right.
As long as you keep working at it and surround yourself with the right people.
I agree with that 100%. My mom used to tell me all the time, if you show me your friends, I'll show you your future. And
True.
I mean, I think that's pretty much what, sums up what you just said right there. If you're hanging out with the wrong crowd, you're probably going to go down the same route that your crowd's going.
If you're getting drunk before the disciple show, that's probably the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I was actually drinking by myself, which was not something I did. I was camping at a campground too. So, camping, great outdoors, sitting around a fire, drinking a beer,
Yeah.
Times a lot.
Isn't it crazy how whatever substance it is can come in and start out as nothing, but then replace members of your family. I've been there. I've done it where I went, I can't believe I just killed all this time that I could have been spending with somebody else.
Right.
I spent it with a drug. You know what I mean?
That's stuff I would, once I got sober, that was stuff I thought about, was like, I just wasted 15 years of my life to do this. And it was like right after my mom passed away, it was like, that was kind of the wake up call, was like, you could have spent more time with her, but yet you chose not to because you chose this addiction. And, I have my dad still. And so now I have an opportunity to be there for him now,
Right.
Now that I am sober, now I'm clean, I see him every day. And I spend as much time with him as possible because, he's getting up there in age too, that, you just never know when,
my thing is that I lost both my parents within about a year and a half of each other. And you lost some other people too. And I never waste the opportunity to tell someone I love them. Tell my wife and son every single night before I go to bed, because I might have a heart attack, not wake up in the morning. Night, love you. Every single night. Just because you don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow.
Right.
If they're going to be here tomorrow. Their time's too short. It's very limited. And we all make a lot of mistakes going through life, trying to figure things out. But at the end, you got to surround yourself with the right people and then rely on those people when you need them, but also be reliable for when they need you.
Right.
That's really how it all comes together and works. Has there been like one person that's definitely been just the champion of this victory that you're going through? This person you can call and they'll, be available to you for any time. Has there been one person out there that's really done that for you?
I would have to say Patrick.
Okay.
Even though Patrick really wasn't there at the beginning, but after I met them guys and, been talking to the guys from 3 Days Under, Patrick's like, you can call him up and ask him right now. Like I will call him on my way home from work if I've just had a crappy day and just be like, hey, Patrick, what's up? And, he kind of calms me down a little bit. But
he answers your calls
all the time.
Yeah, we're going to have a little talk here.
Oh,
I'm just playing.
And if he doesn't pick up right away, he'll call me back as soon as he gets it. But most
Oh,
of the
he
time,
calls you back even.
Yeah.
What's this about?
Yes.
I can't even get a text response. Sorry, I've been busy for 2 weeks. You can't
Yeah.
send a text.
Yes. But I'm glad he's been there for you,
Yeah.
because we all need that one person that, hey, you know, I'm going through it today and I need some help.
Well, I think another person. I mean, it's not somebody I talk to every day or even on a weekly or monthly base. But when I go see Disciple in concert, Kevin, the lead singer, like he knows me by name. Every time I see him, I mean, he pours into me and I pour back, and we have those conversations. I mean, even if it's for 5 minutes, it's somebody like that's kind of like a role model I look up to.
He's a pretty solid dude. I mean, just from the quick interactions that we've had with him, which was very brief, but things we've seen him do and stories we've heard about him, he seems like a pretty solid dude. He's a little less accessible now that the band's become bigger, it seems like, but still a solid dude.
Yeah, I think the story you told during the first part, he's like, "You're drunk," I just think, I've been like, were you like, "Yeah, I am," and I'm embarrassed now.
No,
Were you
I
ashamed?
think I was actually. I felt kind of ashamed, that I
Okay.
showed up to a Christian rock show drunk, but and actually it's kind of funny because I was at a protest show on Sunday, and I was talking to Josh outside. And I was like, Josh, do you know what the day of the concert, the weekend of the concert would be my 2 years of sobriety. And the protest was actually at that show. So they're actually going to be playing my 2 years sobriety show.
Oh, very nice. I like the guys in the protest too. They're
Yeah.
they're another solid group of guys.
Yeah. And so are they still on tour with the Hold the Beloved?
That ended on Sunday.
Oh, okay. Okay. Just I know they were out on tour, and that's a solid show. Is that why you put together these events? Because on the night that you stopped drinking, you were at a Christian concert. Is that why you put together the show last year, and you put together a festival this year? Is that kind of the reason behind it a little bit?
It's kind of something to look forward to, as far as like, if I know I can make it another year, it's almost like a celebration party at the end of it.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Something to look forward to.
So now for somebody who maybe doesn't know these bands or listen to these bands, what's the reason for somebody to show up to this thing? They don't know any of these bands. Why should this person get a ticket to the show?
I mean, I don't know if people out there like rock and roll music. I mean, if you don't like rock music, I mean, that's fine. But I mean, most of the people that show up to these shows are the most genuine people. We had, at last year at Soberfest with Patrick, like Patrick, I know Patrick's this funny guy, but during his shows, like he actually brought people forward and was like, if you have something you need to lay down, like, bring it up here, but as far as like people coming to the shows, just show up. I mean, you might learn of a new band, and you might be able to follow someone new.
Meet somebody cool, hang out, have a good time. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for coming on, Ryan.
Yeah. How can they get tickets though? How can they get tickets and all that?
So tickets will be available on itickets.com. If you just look up Broken Bottle Music Festival 23, it'll pop up there. Or if you get on my Facebook page, Broken Bottle Productions, that will have all ticket information when it comes available.
All right.
Great.
That sounds like a barn burner of a show, man.
And you do a blog every once in a while on YouTube?
On the YouTube. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. You got to come out here and help me put together one of those big shows like that. Okay.
Let's make it happen, man.
I'll talk to you. I'm down to make it happen.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for coming on, Ryan. It's Break the Bottle. It's Break the Bottle, right? Because I know you said Broken Bottle there for a minute.
So Broken Bottle Productions is the name of the company for like company ministry for putting on the shows and stuff. And then Break the Bottle Podcast is the name of the podcast.
Gotcha. All
Or
right.
video blog or whatever.
What's that?
The video blog.
Oh, okay. The connection kind of dropped out for a second, so we didn't catch what you said. All right. Well, thank you for coming on, Ryan. Break the Bottle Podcast, Broken Bottle Productions, and this is Rock Salt MUZKAST Experience.